As a lieutenant commander in the United States Navy, Gary Peters learned firsthand the value of having a friendly ally in the Middle East. And now, as a congressman from Michigan, he has worked hard to strengthen the relationship between the United States and Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to introduce to you Congressman Gary Peters.
Well, thank you, Ike, for that very warm introduction. It's great to be with all of you here this afternoon, and I want to thank everyone here for all that you do to strengthen the U.S.-Israeli relationship. If I could, I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the hard work of one of my constituents who's actively involved in this very important cause, my good friend and your national president, David Victor. I understand David was not able to attend this event, but I wanted to thank him for his hard work and constant advocacy back home. I know that next week many of you here will join your friends and families to gather around the Passover Seder table. And I have learned how this holiday is central not only to the Jewish identity, but also the roots of modern-day Israel. As a holiday that celebrates the miracle of the liberation of the Israelites from slavery to create their own nation, it seems inextricably linked to the modern-day miracle that is the Jewish state of Israel. I have also learned that Passover is a humble holiday, one where gratitude is given for food, freedom, and faith. Famous are the lines, "If only you had freed us from Egypt, it would have been enough. If only you had given us the Torah at Sinai, it would have been enough. If only you had given us the Sabbath day, it would have been enough." It would have been enough. That's an important thought to reflect on discussing the U.S.-Israeli friendship. Today I wanted to share some thoughts about my trip to Israel this past summer with the American Israel Education Foundation, and I want to thank many of you here in the audience that made that possible for me and my wife. I traveled to Israel 10 years before, and much has changed since my first visit, but one thing has not changed, is that Israel remains one of the most vibrant democracies and dynamic economies in the entire world. The trip solidified my view on how valuable our strong relationship with Israel is to the United States. As I traveled throughout Israel, I saw the miracle of a nation that has endured so many wars and so much terrorism. We visited Sderot, which had been battered by constant Hamas rocket attacks, and I was saddened by the lengths the Israelis had to go to protect themselves and their children from the barrage of attacks. But I was also moved by their resilience in the face of such terror. I thought to myself that Israel and the United States face similar threats from terrorism and Islamic extremism, and if I had learned nothing else on this trip, that would have been enough. I spent a Shabbat in Israel, and my wife and I were particularly moved by the beautiful blessings given to children by their parents to be like their forebears. However, nothing moved my wife and I more than our visit to Yad Vashem. And I will never forget, after leaving the darkness of the museum, which memorialized the unthinkable Nazi horrors, we exited into the searing Israeli sunshine and panoramic views of the beautiful Israeli landscape. Those two memories are so vivid to me. And I remember, if I remember nothing else from that trip to Israel, those memories would have been enough. I saw the incredible technology, the dynamic creativity of the Israeli economy, and how Israel has become a partner for growth and innovation with the United States. In its movement of alternative energy, I see a partner in my home state area of Southeast Michigan, which encouraged me to work closely with the Michigan-Israel Business Bridge to foster further opportunities. And if I learned nothing else on this trip, the fact that Israel and the United States can partner to create jobs of the future, that alone would have been enough. But most importantly, we discussed the threat from Iran and the looming likelihood of a destabilizing nuclear threat in the region. As a former naval officer, I served in the Persian Gulf and saw firsthand the line of oil tankers lined up in the Straits of Hormuz. I know what a strategic choke point that is for the world economy and world security, and it is from that experience why I know that Iran can never be allowed to obtain a nuclear weapon. Neither Israel nor the United States can face down this threat alone, which is why we are lucky to have each other. To know that the U.S. has a strategic ally in Israel to face down this adversary, I know that alone would have been enough. These are just a few of the reasons why the United States should be so grateful to have a friend like Israel. From its founding day to this day, Israel remains America's greatest friend, and standing by Israel remains not only the courageous thing to do, it is the right thing to do. I sincerely hope to travel back to Israel someday, so I will end my remarks in the tradition of that 2,000-year-old aspiration next year in Jerusalem. Thank you.